Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, it's Tuesday, July 8th. Now, on the U.S. v. Sean Diddy Combs, after his 2 convictions but 3 not guilties, today at 2 p.m., there is a hearing on expediting his sentencing. His bail was denied, but the judge seems committed to move his sentencing up from October 3rd, and I'm assuming that Mark Agnifilo and his other lawyers will be asking for time served when the time comes. Now, meanwhile, so we'll be doing that at 2. Instead of it being by phone, which it could have been, since it's virtual for the lawyers, it'll be in the courthouse. But so will we be. There it is right there, the courthouse. But there's been a development. Early in the trial, in the first week, in fact, before the trial's testimony and even opening statements began, during jury selection, we noticed that one of the prospective jurors said he worked at the UN Office of Counter-Terrorism. And then he was asked, does that mean you work in any way with U.S. law enforcement? And he said, no. Now, I used to cover the United Nations. In fact, I still do. I write scoops daily about it. But I report on it pretty aggressively. Anyway, I know that office, and they do work with U.S. law enforcement. So it just sort of stuck in my craw that why would this juror be misrepresenting? And on the second day, they asked him more about it because it wasn't credible. He said, no, we work only with Interpol and something about the Dushanbe process. Okay, didn't think more about him because he's just an alternate. And he knew he was an alternate. Only one alternate actually made the transition to being on the jury. That was alternate 1, who took the place of juror number 6, who was ousted for misrepresenting, according to the judge, where he lived and the credibility issues raised thereby. Now, alternate 6 went on CNN right after the verdict. And he said, first he said he inflated his importance by saying, no one told us who were the jurors or who were the alternates. That's totally false. He was there, I was there. Anyone that covered the trial heard them say, you are alternate 6. Fine. Then he said that the videos that no one saw except the jurors and alternates at the time, he said, they were riveting but also kind of tame. Now the question was put to him, he said, the prosecution showed videos of Cassie just sitting around. The interviewer then said, you mean the defense? He said, oh yeah, the defense. So then he went out of his way to mention 350 pages of notes, which to me, call me a cynic, I believe alternate 6 misrepresented to get on the jury, as we reported at the time. And as soon as it was over, somehow was contacted CNN to mention his copious notes, possibly to sell a book. I mean, who am I to say? Who am I to say except to say it's extraordinary to me that this UN... Anyway, we'll have more on this. We've written a story. You can find it. And I think by going on CNN, all bets are out the window, honestly. And the whole secrecy of the trial had a lot of problems, but this is a new low. This is a new low, frankly. Now, what else? Today at 10:30, very soon, we're going to be live tweeting the final pretrial conference in U.S. versus Roman Storm et al. It's the Tornado Cash crypto. It's a crypto mixer where people can put in money and you don't know who put it in and where it went. It turns out it might be legal, according to a FinCEN memo. This is from the Samurai case, but it's going to trial, and we're going to cover that trial. There's another trial coming up. Yesterday we covered the final pretrial conference in U.S. versus Hanratty, a man from Rye, New York, with a municipal tax lien investment company who ripped off, according to the prosecutors, again, who you never know with these prosecutors, $20 million from Emigrant Savings Bank. So those are 2 trials coming down the pike. What else we got? Megan the Stallion, the case goes forward. The cameraman in Ibiza, or wherever he was, that witnessed, according to him, some very troubling material, his case is half dismissed, but goes forward. And we'll be covering that, as well as, of course, Graham versus UMG. We cover the United Nations, too, and we have a scoop about UNISFA, we have a scoop about Libya, but now we're going to be asking about the UN Office of Counter-Terrorism and their staffer, George, whose name is widely known. It's on their website in connection with Dushanbe with a 201 area code. I think it must be his personal number. It's not a UN number. It's on the UN website. And that 201 number, here comes the feds, the 201 number tracks to a real estate dealer in Manhattan. Okay, we're going in.